All right.
I'm tired from yesterday. Was such a long day.
That's okay. My video's starting. All right. Great. We are live. Okay. So we'll just wait a few minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully people will join, and then we'll get started.
How do you know if they're on?
If people are joining, it'll say like here, current viewers.
Okay.
And then
comments on it.
yeah, if people comment. So I'll wait a few more minutes.
Yeah, I was gonna, the one version we had, we built a demo, right, originally, and then once you get to a point where people want it, then we start building it like with the security in mind.
Okay.
You know, more security.
Yep.
And you can't launch anything without that. So that's where we're at right now, but it's kind of funny. We're at that stage. We're just trying to. I had my business partner kind of taken over, and then he started building another business.
Okay.
And so we're like regrouping and stuff. So it's kind of frustrating, but that's startup life, you know.
Yeah.
It's like.
Well,
Speaking of IPOs, you see the Starlink? No, sorry. Elon's.
okay. Yeah. I don't know the.
What's his SpaceX? I'm sorry, SpaceX. His rocket ship company's going IPO.
Oh, I did not hear that.
Probably going to be the biggest ever.
Yeah.
Like $1 trillion.
I imagine that.
Yeah, and trying to send people to the moon with it, so we'll see.
All right. Let's just talk, and then if people can join, and this will get posted later, so people can comment later too.
Yeah.
So hi everyone, that may be future or current viewers. My name's Elizabeth. I'm the Director of Support Services at the Brain Injury Alliance of New Jersey. I'm joined by Scott today. And today we're going to talk a little bit about AI, which I think is a hot topic, especially over the last few years, and how that has kind of helped Scott in his brain injury recovery and how it might help others who are impacted by brain injury in their recovery, and ways that maybe we can creatively think about using AI. So I won't talk too much because I'm not the expert in this subject
feel
matter.
free to jump in.
But I'll let you kind of start. Maybe if you could tell us a little bit about you, your brain injury, and then anything else you'd want to share about that specifically. Maybe some of the challenges you had too.
Yeah, for sure. I'm an entrepreneur for life. I've been doing a lot of different businesses, startups, and I actually was working on this product prior to my accident. I was trying to build an AI assistant for just everyday life, just for anybody. And so after my accident, I started really using it, the product that I built, the app that I built prior to my accident. And then it was really helpful because it was really a simple product where it simplified technology. And that was one of my biggest hurdles. We're using the existing maps and everything that's out there. So I just used that, and my doctors were, they were wondering how I got,
May I have your attention, please? If you are charging
Oh,
something,
sorry.
charging
Which shout out to Ocean County
I
Library.
was wondering if somebody was on our live. So I started using it, and my doctors were wondering like how I was keeping track of stuff, and I told them that I was using this app, and then they recommended that we try building it for other people because it was very simple, and the technology pretty much anyone could use. So I built it simply because I didn't want a lot of apps have a lot of extra features that most people don't use. So that was really it was just the basics of each app. So I have a basic recorder that I used initially. It would record my visits and stuff like that, and then that's how it kind of started, was that aspect of just using something I already had that was solving my problem.
Yeah. And so like you have your background in technology, and then you also kind of have your survivor cap, and you're able to merge the two to figure out something that would work. Because I think one of the issues that I hear a lot with survivors is like navigating all this different technology, and it gets really complicated, especially with people that might have like issues with concentration or just cognitive challenges.
Mhm.
So it sounds like you kind of simplified that and all in one spot too, because I think that's the other complaint is that there's so many different things.
Yeah, there's a lot of widgets, and then you forget why you went onto your phone
Right.
in the first place, or you were walking into a room and you forget why you went in there. A lot of folks have executive function issues after they have an accident,
Mhm.
and so when you start with, let's say you want to go just take the trash out, the next thing you know, you're like painting a bedroom, right? So
Mhm.
those types of things, it helps you just stay guided. It's basically a simple to-do list, but it also has reminders to stay on task.
Okay.
So one of the features was basically task flow, where you put in there what you want to do, and then it kind of makes sure that you just look back at what you're
Yeah.
trying to do,
Mhm.
and you don't go off track and end up completely not doing what you started off doing.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of the focus was for people that were using it, and we had a lot of people using it, and it was really it's really a tool that we had to start really making sure it was 100% secure.
Yeah.
So that's what stage we are right now. So.
And then in regards to maybe your recovery early on, I know you said you were kind of developing this app before,
Mhm.
and so where did you find it most useful for you? Like what specific challenge in your recovery did you say like, hey, this app has really helped me out here?
Yeah, a lot of it was based around the recovery of what I was told to do versus what I was actually
Mhm.
following up on, and just to make sure that when they told me to do this or that, make sure that I did it. And that's a lot of it's just checking off the to-dos, and they would give you to-dos. Now, we built this really early on in AI, the AI world. We were, like I said, but now we can add a lot more features to it that AI can really handle a lot of the heavy lifting.
Right.
So that's really where we were really early for that.
Mhm.
And then when OpenAI came out, it almost could replace what we're doing, which is good to some extent.
Right.
Mhm.
Still want some of that human aspect
Yes.
in some of the things. So that's great. And then I was gonna say, like, if you recommend to like so you have your app, but are there other like tools that you used, AI specific or not, maybe technology, just broad technology that you used in your recovery in addition to the app that maybe was helpful and that maybe other people can
Yeah,
use?
right, absolutely. When OpenAI came out, that was a game changer as far as it does a lot more than what we were doing,
Mhm.
and has more capabilities. So you think of it as a personal assistant,
Yeah.
where if you have somebody sit next to you and you need to read a document, it'll read it for you and summarize it. And then if it has some to-dos, it can tell you to add them to your
Mhm.
to-do list, but sometimes that's the disconnect.
Yeah.
So with our product that we're building, it'll just add them to your to-do list and then make sure you do those.
Right.
So that's really just OpenAI isn't, and a lot of them are just getting into where they can have access to your calendars and like
Yeah.
Gemini does that,
Yeah.
Siri's trying to do that, but they're not very good at it yet.
Mm-hmm.
Have
Some
you
work
tried
to be
it?
done. No, I have not. I've not tried it.
Yeah.
I have seen like the AI that's built into like Microsoft and like
Mhm.
PowerPoint, and like that they can kind of help be your personal assistant if you're making a PowerPoint or doing something like that.
Right.
I haven't used it myself, but I think I think that's
It's-
part of the learning curve for a lot of people is how to use the
Right.
technology efficiently and effectively.
Mhm. Yeah, there's so
Um,
many uses. Even just to take a picture of something and ask any question that you have a question about,
Yeah.
it'll analyze it. And there's a lot of use cases like that, especially for with Meta glasses now. Have you seen Meta glasses?
Yes.
You could just walk around and say, "Where did I leave my keys?"
Mhm.
And it'll try to look back at the videos or pictures. It can take pictures every so often.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of this next few years. There's going to be a lot of tools for disabled
Yeah.
folks.
Yeah, on a separate note, and
Yeah.
like along that note, we had a presentation from the Commission for the Blind and Visually Impaired, and one
Mhm.
of the presenters had the Meta glasses, and she was saying how she could navigate through, like, there's like a Be My Eyes app, so it could like navigate her through like an airport, which was kind of, so that's her like seeing eye dog.
Yeah, no, AI is, that's AI essentially, so
Yeah.
we're talking the same thing. Yeah, I have a relative that actually lost his some of his vision golfing, and he wants to golf. So we were trying to figure out how we could use Meta, because he's visually impaired now. So there's a lot of tools out there that we could put together and allow him to golf.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I like the use that you're talking about of like taking a picture and like having it explain it, because I think what we hear a lot of times, especially with the amount of mail people get and like navigating all of the systems that are out there, Social Security, like things like that, that kind of make, or even like follow-up documents from your doctor, like just trying to understand that when it comes in like pages of like 10, 20, and like you're just trying to figure out what do I need to do here.
Right. Just understand the language.
Right.
Even the summary, the take home, when you go to a doctor and they give the summary of sometimes you lose it.
Yeah.
Or you just don't understand what it means. With the AI, you can, especially when they start connecting it to your follow-up to-dos, where you can, our app, we were connecting it to caregivers.
Yeah.
So the doctor would actually add the to-dos to the patient's app, and they didn't have to think about anything. They would just go in and check off that they did that task, and then the provider knew that they did it. So there's not a lot of tools like that where it's connecting the patient and the caregiver directly.
Yeah.
Most of the AI is driving towards helping the doctors summarize visits, add notes, follow-up notes, and then the patient's kind of left out with a piece of paper. And it's still happening. It's unfortunate. Or when you go to the doctor and you have to fill out the form again for every, and that's not just people with brain injuries or. That's an issue. So they're working on that as well. But yeah, for the complete recovery product is what we were building. Is you go to the doctor, it records the conversation, summarizes it, and then shares it with other folks. You know, you have a caregiver that needs to see what's going on as well, and then they make a point to have you follow up with those things.
Yeah, I think that's maybe where there is a gap, is like everyone's working in silos kind of almost, and so there's like no communication or lack of follow-up between all the parties involved, and that makes it just difficult in general for someone to like successfully move forward. So I think that sounds like that could potentially fill that gap.
Yeah, I was working, just having conversations with some different providers, and one of them is doing remote physical therapy for people that can't leave their house, where they don't need necessarily like a lot of like the hands-on approach with the physical therapist, and it was really just checking off that they did it. Right. And most people know if you do your homework, you're going to get better faster. So that was one of the things we were incorporating, was with any provider, because a lot of people with brain injuries, that's not just their only issue. They may have been in a car accident where they're doing physical therapy and they're going to 10 different doctors, and it's very confusing. So our hope is to put that all into one product, and then hopefully they all stop using it, they'll get better, they won't have to use our app anymore. That's our goal. Most companies tell you they want you to use their app forever. Investors don't want to hear that you don't want them to use your app anymore.
The hope is that they will either like connect or build those skills on their own to like move forward with them.
And some of our beta testers actually told us that. They said we don't need the app anymore.
Right.
It was reminding, one of the really nice features was reminding them just to take their medications. Yeah. And whether or not they took it or not, moments after they took it, it was one of these things where they forgot that they just took their medication. So we were working on it, and I had a developer doing all this. I'm just a guinea pig, so I would just tell them, this would be a nice feature, and he would just build it. I'm not a developer or anything like that. I used to do that stuff, but now it's more just AI building things. So just taking a picture of the medication, or using a combination of the pill boxes. Yes.
Mhm.
I know it's empty. I know I just was told to take it. I'm pretty certain I took it.
Right.
The other option too is I've seen somewhere they take a picture of you taking it.
Yeah.
So it's like that. It depends on your level of memory. But some of the beta testers actually said that they didn't need the reminders anymore. So
Mhm.
that it was working.
Yeah.
It built in a system, and
Yeah.
a lot of it's just the routines, as we know.
Right. I was just gonna say routine. I think that's the
Mhm.
biggest issue is like you have all these changes, things are different, and also you're dealing with like some maybe cognitive changes, and so the best way to maybe address that is by building routines, but I don't think people know where to start or how to do that, so it sounds like that can do that. And then the more you do the
Yeah.
routine, the more like your brain kind of adapts to that routine or can
Yes,
remember to
it
do it.
rewires for
Yeah.
sure. I've done a lot of as a guinea pig in some research studies just to learn about this, and there are some doctors that are convinced and are working on studies that show that you can still keep getting better.
Mhm.
And it's really interesting when they rewire your brain, and
Yeah.
people that were told that they're not going to get better, they're actually getting better.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of research about exercise and doing cognitive things at the same time.
Yeah.
So I'm really fascinated by that whole world of recovering, even though they told you you're not going to.
Right.
So
Yeah. Neuroplasticity, like creating new pathways
Yeah,
for your
yeah.
brain to work. Yeah.
Mhm.
Awesome. Let me see if there's anything else. Talked about AI tools. I really am fascinated by like the summarization that AI can do.
Mhm.
We talked about. I think that's super helpful for people.
Some of the tips I can give you too. So just start with basic
Mhm.
AI. So OpenAI is that's the company that started it. ChatGPT is their product.
Okay.
So that's the app that so there's a lot of like weird ChatGPT ripoffs. So
Okay.
make sure you're using the right one. But the main thing is 3 points to take by. You want to tell it who it is.
Mhm.
It's like you say you're my assistant.
Yeah.
And you tell the AI what like your persona,
Mhm.
like what you're going through, and you really want to just pretend it's like an assistant that you're hiring. And you
Yeah.
say, this is my issue. I have trouble with speech. I have trouble with vision. I have this, and you give it some details of what you have issues with. You can go to the next level. And actually, if you're doing if you're trying to work part time, as long as it's not, and I'll go into some cautionary tales, but be very general.
Mhm.
Don't give it specifics. Don't take pictures of like your social security number.
Yeah, okay.
But if you give it a persona of what you are and what your capabilities are, and then it knows and it stores it in its memory. So
Right.
then you can tell it you need to speak slower, and I have a speech impediment. I may miss words, so you have to like really dial that in, and then the AI will understand that and actually there's a couple different ways you can talk to it through text, because some people can't speak. You can type into there, you can talk to it, and it'll actually interact with you. They're still working on that. It's not there yet. Sometimes it doesn't understand your speech, but the more you teach it, the more it'll know about you.
Yeah.
This other thing though is sometimes it wants to make sure it's helping you.
Mhm.
Sometimes it gives you help that's not actually real, and it will hallucinate a little bit, or just so you can actually, once you get into the advanced stages, you can tell it to just be factual.
Mhm.
And you can change it how it actually talks to you. And
Yeah.
So that's really the first two things I always talked about. Just creating a persona of it, and then yourself, and then just use it.
Yeah.
Right? And again, don't take pictures of your social security number and upload that. Even with your medical documents, like cover up your
Personal
information. Even if there's a lot of those types of things they can do. But I'm working with a company that's actually educating companies on how to implement it.
Okay.
So I just connect them with companies that are asking me about it, and with people as well. So I have people ask me, how do I get started? And I just give them like this overview of how to do it.
Yeah.
So it is scary sometimes because people are like, oh, it's going to take over the world. But
that's why you say please and thank you.
Yes, and it does give you a better response when you do that.
Yeah, really?
It does. They've proven it.
Wow.
But I guess the big takeaway is if you're using AI versus if you're not, the person using AI will take the person's job that's not using it. So if you are not using it and you're working and you're trying to do stuff, I would just suggest learning it. And if your company's not integrating it yet, they will be.
Yeah.
A lot of companies, and some companies are using off-the-shelf stuff and it's not secure, so that's another issue. But that's just get started with it, and it'll help you. Even just something simple, take a picture of your refrigerator and say, "Make me lunch," or describe what a good recipe would be, and it'll do that.
That's how I use it.
Yeah,
I say, I have these ingredients. What should I have for dinner?
And there's different versions. I don't want to get too complicated, but there's a version, like you said, the consumer brand is more OpenAI. The commercial, where you're writing PDFs, there's a couple platforms for that, but Claude is very good at analyzing business stuff. So and they're coded. They're basically make mostly like coders helping developers develop. So.
Yeah, and so I think it sounds to me like if someone wanted to use like a basic kind of user-friendly OpenAI ChatGPT, but I think where people maybe misstep is they go right into using it, but they don't like prime it to personalize it for themselves. So that's something they should do.
Yes, that's usually the first thing, because if you don't, it's generalizing everything.
Yeah.
And that's not good.
Right. So that's important. Okay. And then what are some cautionary tales?
Well, besides entering information, it's just don't trust it for everything. Like just really just think about, does it make sense what they just told me? There were lawyers that used court cases and that were made up, and they went and they had a lot of trouble. So it's like the Wild West right now with AI. There are certain LLMs or AI that you can put on your own server, so you don't have to worry about your data going out into the atmosphere. And then so that's really. But a couple things there are a lot of people using AI for bad things, mimicking voices. People are getting phone calls from like their kids, and it's like they're not their kids. It sounds just like them. Imitating video, pictures. So there's a lot of those, and there's always that element you have to be careful of as well. Yeah,
and on a side note, I've heard like people like in terms of like mimicking the voices, like if you get a call and there's no one there, to not just say like hello, because they could be like recording your voice saying hello and then using that.
Or saying yes.
Yeah.
Because then you can, when you go call in your credit card, if your card was scammed or whatever, then they know what to say. It's
Okay, be wary. And then maybe as we shift to maybe like what the future, what do you think, or what do you hope to see with like AI and like brain injury recovery? Where do you think there's some room for growth?
I think there's a lot of room. I think the big picture is to enable somebody to, it's not a crutch, it's more like enable them to get back in their routines and to do things, but you don't want to rely on it too much, so then you're not going to learn. It's telling you to do everything you're on. But we do find that when you get back into that routine and you're rewiring your brain, eventually what we're hoping is, so if you have an accident, there's a couple of startups that I've heard of that you can get literally digital treatment, telehealth, within a few days versus months to get. So that would be a nice add-on, having somebody actually be able to treat you quickly. And then the tools in there, like I said, go to an appointment, it records it, summarizes it, adds you to a to-do list, and then it also gives you advice as far as that's clinically correct, and can help you through those moments. And then there's also the community that needs to be informed, because a lot of people self-isolate, and there's the whole mental aspect of concussions that a lot of people don't even know about. So really it's like we want to educate a newbie to a concussion, to a brain injury, to let them know what they may or may not be up against, because that's one of the big aspects is they don't know, doctors don't know, they can't tell you it'll be 6 weeks or 2 years or 10 years. They can ballpark it, but they still won't tell you. Right. So really the big takeaway is educating the caregivers, the patient, and then connecting all of them together so they can, have better treatment, as a team versus them being alone. That's one of the biggest things people get, like, they feel very alone, especially and the caregivers feel alone too.
Yeah.
So there's like a lot of, like you said earlier, siloed pieces to the puzzle.
Yeah. I think, and you mentioned like the socialization too. Do you see like, so I know there's like kind of the medical care component of AI, but like where do you see, is there room for AI in like the isolation piece and socializing more? Like where do you think, because I've heard people use it as like their therapist, like, but like what is that going to look like in a few years?
That's a great question. There have been some therapists, AI therapists, and there's some out there still. The one shut down because it was just too problematic. But I think it'll be a combination of working with your real therapist virtually, and then like they'll summarize everything and give you some tips to follow along and to use. It's really just acquiring tools.
Yes.
Right. So and then using those tools. If you don't use them, I was part of a research study, and they were trying to figure out what tools were given to the person, and then what tools did they use after that. And a lot of them didn't use any of the tools. They forgot about the tools. So he wanted to implement the tools into our app to where socializing. Did you socialize today?
Yeah.
Did you call somebody? Did anybody call you? I've talked to a lot of folks, and they don't tell anybody that they had a brain injury. Yeah. And so they think they just fell off the planet and are ignoring them. So there is some of that social aspects, which I think could be solved somewhat. But again, it's just you really need to be in front of people.
Right. Yeah.
Ultimately, you got to get out of your house, and you have to do. It's hard. It's a lot. It's really hard. And just kind of boil it down to some of the folks that hear about this. It's the one doctor that I talked to that said he thinks everyone can get a little bit better.
Yeah.
He said when he's seen one concussion, he's seen one concussion. So
right.
all of them are different, but a lot of them do have very similar aspects. Socializing is a big part.
Yeah.
The mental health of it is big. And then when their insurance cuts off, it's like that's it. And so there's a whole nother animal with that. What happens when their insurance is cut off? Well, how can we continue to treat them? And how do we do that with nobody's paying it?
Right.
So
that's one of the biggest hurdles. As I talk to people too, like you have so much support, like maybe in the hospital or in a rehab, it just slowly dwindles because then you don't have your sessions covered anymore, so you're not seeing your PT twice a week, and then it's just like that circle slowly gets smaller as you move further away from your injury, even though you probably could still use that support.
Yeah.
So that is a big challenge, and I wonder if like AI, well, I don't know if AI can be like an insurance navigator, but
no, that's another aspect that we were approached to add that factor in there. Like, how long do you think you'll be treating for, and how long they'll pay for it? And that's usually when the doctors kind of agree that it's pretty much you plateaued, and then so most, I forget the stats, but I think a lot of the recovery is in the first year, 2 years. But he's proving through studies that even after 15, 20 years that people can improve with these different technologies. Right. So there is hope. But you're right. It's what do we do after they get cut off? And a lot of people do get cut off, and so if we can mimic their treatment to some level.
Or like the exercises that they do in various therapies, and that be guided by AI or something like that would be cool. And then maybe we'll wrap up with what are your future plans for your app and what you're doing? Like, where do you hope to see that go?
Yeah, we're hoping to bring on some people that could run it for me. I can't be a CEO at this point, not yet, but oversee it and then get grant money to fund it and then do more research with it, along with these doctors I mentioned, and just build it out to what we said, to where. And it could be where somebody is just, they're done with their treatment, but they need to continue, and we can, there's a big thing on nudging. I don't know if you've heard of this, nudging?
No.
Nudging is, there's a whole conference about nudging people to do what really supposed to do, but it's very difficult. It's like even like physical therapy. People don't do their homework.
Yeah.
It's just hard. So if we can get them to do some of that stuff, we can nudge them to continue to do these things. And it's very hard, especially with a brain injury. First of all, to remember it, and then two, is it working? It doesn't seem like it is, but when I see people that have done these different things after 6-7 months, you can definitely tell a difference. Now, will they get 100%? We don't know, but if we can send people to Mars, why can't people, they can do brain implants or something like that. But for us, we just want to just try to help it along to where it makes it easier for people to understand what's going on and what potentially could go on, and then have the caregivers understand what's going on, right? That's why it's going to be a team effort, and I've seen that where it's a disconnect, and the person just snowballs, and they, my one doctor just said, just don't spiral. Yeah. And I've seen people spiraling, and it's hard because it's not easy to not spiral. The way the treatment is, essentially. So I had good treatment. I was lucky. I had a really good team, and I still do. But they really need to, be adversarial with themselves. Yes. Right? That's a big one too. Just keep asking questions and don't give up on that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the motivation piece and the memory piece of it all is hard. And then you have like brain fatigue. So like overcoming a lot of those things I think is challenging, but it sounds like this app can maybe help guide them towards that.
Take off some of the heavy load of their thinking. Yeah. So they don't have to constantly wonder like, what was I going to do today? It's going to like let them know and hopefully let the caregiver know too. Yeah. Depends on the level of the person as well. So that's another aspect of this is the how bad was their injury, and then how much can they do. Right. But really, it's just like I said. We have a big picture, but we'll get there eventually. So no, this has been great. And the Brain Injury Alliance, their support groups are great. All of the the things you guys do, the in-person events, Trek. So it's been it's been good collaboration, as they say, collabs, as the kids. So it's been good. I've been really learning a lot. So working with other groups outside of the Brain Injury Alliance, with some concussion, with the Players Association, with some of the ex-football players that went through a lot of that, recovery process. They're still dealing with it. So we're working on some of those things as a team effort. Yeah. I think it will require a team. Like AI is a beast, so it will require a team. But okay, it's been great. Any other last comments or? No, just if they Panga.ai is our app. If they want to waitlist it when we get it built, clinicians, investors, sponsors, whoever wants to take a look and learn more, just jump on there. And if they have any questions about it, they can just put a little there's a contact sheet in there. So Panga.ai for anyone that's interested. All right. Well, thank you, Scott, so much. And thank you for joining. I see we have one viewer. So anyone else that joins after, feel free to comment. Reach out to BINJ if you want more information about this. And Scott mentioned our support group, so I'll just plug that quickly. We have a lot of support services at the BINJ, including support groups. We have our camps. We have a family camp, an adult camp called Camp Trek. We have our helpline, so if you ever need assistance, feel free to reach out to us. But thank you, everyone, and we'll talk to you later. Thanks. Thank you.